somebody doesn't know how to swim the English Channel, but let's pretend, right, for argument's sake, that they have the swim experience, they have the knowledge, they've done a handful of open water swims, and they're like, I want to attack this goal. Take me through like step one to kind of the end of what it would look like to like getting the right permits, to right like the training, like to what that looks like, the timeline.
So I mean, the first step, like once you decide you're going to do it, it's not happening that year. Like it is, so it's become much more popular. It's usually you're booking your swim date 2 to 3 years out. So like if you're interested in it, like I have swimmers like I'm talking to now, like, oh, I want to do it, I want to do it. So I'm like, all right, well, realistically, it's 2025. You could get a spot for 2024, but it's not going to be a good spot because there's like a positioning system that the pilots use because there's limited swim windows and there's limited boats.
This is crazy. Okay.
Yeah. So there's you have slot. So the way the English Channel works is there's the main tides are neap tides and spring tides.
Yes.
Generally, they won't put you on a spring tide because the tidal flow is too strong, and most people won't finish. It tacks on between like 1 and 2 hours to a good swimmer. So if you're not a fast swimmer,
like 4 or 5 hours.
It's not happening.
It's not
like
happening.
You're gonna get a mile off French waters, and you're just gonna swim in place until they pull you. So there's limited number of neap tides during the season, and there's limited number of boats. Every boat will book about 5 slots. And the way it works is if you get it's a priority system based on first come, first serve.
Right.
If you get P1, so position 1, that means like in that window. So say the window's 5 days. You're never guaranteed to swim because it all depends on weather, but you will get the best day that is swimmable. So P1 is guaranteed the best swimmable day. That means if the weather blows out for the first 4 days, and you go on day 5, P2 through P5 aren't getting to swim because now you're entering someone else's, another 5 people's windows. So the boat captains do their best to like get everyone in that wants to, but like if I were to book for 2024, I'm probably realistically looking at only 4 and 5 spots. So like the chances of you even getting in the water go like way down with that. So that's why I say you're looking at 2 years out to book your spot. Then once you book your slot and you get the deposit paid, then it's about training. You train until the year of your swim. The way I have my swimmers train, the way I train is like it's stepping stones because you don't have to swim 20 miles like before the channel, but you should be doing progressively longer swims. So like I like my swimmers to be targeting either like around a 25-kilometer swim to a 20-mile swim the year before the English Channel. And the reason I do this is because, and I did the same thing. I did Catalina my first year, New York the second year, and then English Channel is my third. The reason I do that is because the training is so time consuming. So before you start sinking tens of thousands of dollars into the English Channel, you learn if you even like it, right? Like you learn if that training is for you in that first year for the cheaper swim. You've built a base up. So you have a year of major base under your belt. So you have less likely for injury the following year when you start ramping up volume for the channel. And then you have all this like long swim open water experience where you don't have to think about your nutrition plan. You don't have to think about what you're going to eat, when you're going to eat, how often. You don't have to know who your crew is. You've already trained with your crew. You know how to swim next to a boat. So basically all the hard part for the year of the channel is just about getting the volume in, staying injury free, and getting used to the cold. So like it makes, if you do it right and you have the proper goals, it becomes a far less daunting task, right? Like if you were to say to me, hey, Craig, I want to do this channel in 3 years, but I've only swum a mile.
Right.
I would lay out the plan. You would get your first plan, like your first year, and you'd be like, no way. And then as you get further into the plan, you're like, all right, it's baby steps to get there. And then you knock out that swim and you're like, all right, like that was a 6-hour swim. My English Channel is only 6 more hours. So over the course of 2 years, I only have to build endurance to get 6 more hours.
Right.
So less and less daunting as the years go on. You're just like, oh, I got this in the bag. Not in the bag, but like if weather conditions hold, like I've done everything I can do to control, like that are in my control, and I have a much higher chance of success versus people who, they book it 3 years ago, but then they don't start training until 6 months before the channel. Like, oh, you are in for a rough go. But, it all comes down to how committed you are.
Right.